Sunday morning, after the best sleep I'd had in forever on Daniel's old mattress, we decided to hit the grocery store with Lisa. This little town only has one spot, the Walmart out on the edge, where everyone within a 20-mile radius does their weekly grocery shopping. Weekends are always busier. Shopping carts rattling, kids darting around, that same old country music crackling over the speakers. Lisa was pushing the cart, scanning the produce aisle. She stopped at the apples, picked out a few shiny red ones, and dropped them into a bag. Daniel walked beside her, holding a small basket with milk and bread. I trailed behind, clutching the short shopping list Lisa had handed me. Milk, eggs, flour, and a couple of cheap packs of ground beef to stock up for Columbus. I was crouched down grabbing a carton of orange juice from the bottom shelf when I looked up and froze. At the checkout lane right next to us, not even 10 steps away, was my mom. She was wearing that familiar beige wool coat, hair in a low bun, holding a small shopping basket. She was in line, scrolling on her phone, but then she must have felt something because she looked up. Our eyes met. Time just stopped. The orange juice carton shook in my hand. My heart was hammering so loud I could hear it in my ears. Daniel noticed instantly. He whipped around, followed my gaze, and went rigid too. Lisa was a few feet away picking tomatoes, oblivious. Mom looked at me, then at Daniel standing right beside me, then at Lisa, the woman pushing the cart and chatting with the cashier. Her expression shifted. Surprise, then pain, then something colder, judgment, disappointment, maybe both. She didn't say a word, just stared. Her lips pressed tight, fingers gripping the basket strap so hard I saw them tremble, the same way mine were shaking. My throat went dry. I wanted to turn away, run, scream, "I'm okay, I'm happy, stop looking at me like that." But my feet felt nailed to the floor. Daniel stepped closer, his hand brushing my lower back, subtle, steady. He didn't say anything, just stood there, shoulder to shoulder with me, like he was saying, "I've got you." I took a deep breath. Then I reached for his hand, laced our fingers together, no hiding anymore. I looked straight into Mom's eyes, no bowing my head, no looking away. I gave her a small nod, just a polite, calm hello. No anger, no begging. Just, "I'm still here. I'm still living." Mom blinked. Her mouth opened like she might say something, then closed again. She turned back to the line, shoulders slumping a little. I saw her shoulders tremble once, but she didn't look back. Lisa finally noticed. She walked over, put a hand on my shoulder, voice soft. "Michael, is that your mom?" I nodded, voice rough. "Yeah." She didn't push, just squeezed my shoulder, then turned to Daniel. "Come on, let's grab the rest and head home." We kept shopping. I still had the orange juice in my hand, but it wasn't shaking anymore. We picked up a few more things, paid, and walked out to the car. The whole ride back, nobody mentioned it. Lisa talked about a new pie recipe she wanted to try. Daniel teased me for picking the wrong toothpaste. I laughed along, but inside there was still this quiet ache. Not the sharp pain from before, just a soft, distant sadness. When we got home, Lisa went to the kitchen to start lunch. Daniel pulled me out to the back porch. We sat on the old wooden steps, looking out at the cornfields in the distance. He wrapped an arm around my shoulders, rested his head against mine. "You okay?" he asked quietly. I nodded. "Yeah, just surprised. Didn't expect to run into her here. Small town and all." He brushed his fingers through my hair. "You handled it so well. You didn't run. You didn't look down. You just nodded hello. That's enough." I leaned into him, staring out. I always thought if I saw her again I'd cry, or yell, or apologize. But in that moment, I just wanted her to see I'm okay. "I'm not sorry. I'm happy." Daniel pressed a kiss to my hair. She saw. Even if she didn't say it, she saw. And maybe one day she'll understand. I didn't answer, just held his hand tighter. The old wound still stung. A quick, sharp pinch, but not as deep as it used to be. It reminded me the past isn't gone. But it also reminded me I'm not running anymore. I chose to stand tall. Chose to hold Daniel's hand in public. Chose to nod hello instead of turning away. And for the first time, that sting didn't make me bleed anymore. Just a faint, lingering sadness and a solid certainty. I'm living my own life now. No matter how Mom looks at me, with pain or judgment, I'm still gonna keep walking. Hand in hand with Daniel. Toward whatever wide-open sky is ahead. We got back to Columbus that Sunday afternoon, carrying the care package Lisa packed. Leftover short ribs, a few cookies, and a jar of fresh cucumber salad. The bus dropped us at the downtown stop. Daniel carried the heavier bag. I walked beside him, hands in my pockets, watching the after-work crowd on the street. The air between us felt lighter, no lingering heaviness from the supermarket run-in. We didn't bring it up again. Knowing it happened and that we'd gotten through it was enough. We got back to the room just as it was getting dark. Same old place. Faint with smell. Thin curtains. Ceiling fan rattling. Daniel set the groceries on the table, opened our tiny mini fridge, the one we bought with tip money, and started putting things away. I watched him, then blurted out, "I want to cook stew for you. Lisa taught me her beef and carrot recipe yesterday. I remember it." Daniel turned, eyes lighting up. "For real? You think you can pull it off?" I nodded, trying to sound confident even though my stomach was flipping. "Yeah, I watched her do it a few times. It's not that hard." He grinned, leaned in, and kissed my cheek. "All right, I'll sit here and wait. Tell me if you need help." I rolled up my sleeves and got to work. Our kitchen is tiny, one 2-burner gas stove, a sink, and a little wooden table shoved against the wall. I thawed the frozen beef in warm water, sliced it up. Carrots, potatoes, onions. I chopped more evenly than last time. Poured in water, added seasonings, turned on the heat. The smell started spreading. Sizzling onions, beef bubbling. Daniel sat on the bed, sketchbook open, but he kept glancing up at me, smiling. "You look like a pro." I laughed. "Wait till you taste it. Don't jinx me." The pot came to a boil. I stirred, added salt and pepper. The whole room smelled amazing. I felt proud. This was the first real meal I'd ever cooked for him. Not just instant ramen or PB&J. The first time I did something for him because I wanted him to be happy. Then I heard a weird hiss. Looked down, the bottom was starting to scorch. Panic hit. I yanked the heat off, lifted the lid. Smoke poured out. The beef had blackened in a thin layer at the bottom. Carrots shriveled, broth cloudy and burnt. I stood there frozen, wooden spoon shaking in my hand. Tears stung my eyes. I ruined it. Daniel was up in a second. He looked at the pot, then at me. Didn't say a word. Just turned off the stove completely, grabbed a towel to wipe my hands, then pulled me down to sit on the floor. He rummaged in the cabinet, pulled out 2 packs of instant ramen, the cheap kind we always keep on hand. Boiled water, dumped in the noodles, added the seasoning packets. 3 minutes. He set 2 steaming bowls between us on the floor. Sat down across from me, our knees touching. "Eat," he said gently. "Ramen's fine for tonight." I stared at the bowl, tears falling. "But I wanted to make you something good." He reached over, wiped my tears with his thumb. "I know, and I love that you tried. But I love you more. You trying already makes me happy. Burnt pot? We'll buy a new one tomorrow. Or you can try again next week. It's okay." He picked up some noodles with chopsticks and held them to my mouth. I opened, swallowed. Salty, spicy, familiar. Daniel ate too, chuckling. "See? Ramen's good. And honestly, burnt stew has a special smell. Kinda like freedom." I looked at him, then burst out laughing, half crying. "Freedom tastes burnt?" He nodded, eyes sparkling. "Yeah, a little charred, but warm. And way better than anything perfect." We sat on the floor and finished both bowls. Laughing at the burnt pot, at my tears, at the fact that we were here together, no judgment. Laughed until we were crying again, then just held each other, catching our breath. When we were done, Daniel got up and scrubbed the scorched pot. Not a single complaint. I watched, feeling lighter than I had in days. "You're not mad at me?" I asked quietly. He turned, face covered in soap bubbles, grinning like an idiot. "Mad? I love your clumsy ass. I love you burning the stew. I love you crying over burnt stew. I love all of it." I stood up, wrapped my arms around him from behind, pressed my face to his back. Smell of ramen, burnt bits, soap, all mixed together. "I love you too," I whispered. "Love you because you never expect me to be perfect." He turned, kissed me. Salty from the ramen, but so damn sweet. We cleaned up, turned off the lights, crawled into bed. Daniel spooned me from behind, chin on my shoulder. "Night, my little chef." I smiled into the dark. Night. Outside the window, the city hummed. But in our 170-square-foot room, the faint burnt smell still lingered, and for the first time it didn't feel like failure. Felt like freedom. Middle of the night in mid-July, Columbus got hit with a huge storm. Rain hammered the tin roof like gunshots, water leaking through the old window cracks, dripping onto the wooden floor. I curled up under the thin blanket, Daniel holding me from behind like always, his steady breathing against my neck. I tried to sleep, but it wouldn't come. Instead, the nightmare did. In the dream, I was back in the old house. Spotless, sterile, smelling of bleach and black coffee. Dad at the head of the table, eyes ice cold, holding my report card. Mom behind him, eyes red but silent. Dad lifted the sketch Daniel drew of me, then tore it to pieces. Shreds fell like black snow. "You're a disgrace." His voice cut, quiet but sharp. "You don't deserve to be my son. I'd rather have no son at all." I wanted to run, but my feet were stuck. Wanted to scream, but my throat closed. Dad stepped closer, hand raised like he was going to hit me. I braced for the familiar pain. Then I jolted awake. I was soaked in sweat, t-shirt plastered to my back. Heart slamming like it wanted out of my chest. I gasped, clutching the sheets. Rain still pounded outside, thunder rumbling far off. Daniel woke instantly. He sat up, flicked on the little bedside lamp. Soft yellow light hit my pale face. Red eyes. "Michael? What did you dream?" I couldn't speak at first. Just shook my head, tears spilling. Daniel didn't push. He pulled me into his chest, arms tight around me. One hand stroking my hair, the other cradling the back of my neck so my head rested against his heart. "It's okay," he whispered. "Just a dream. I'm right here." I trembled. Cold sweat still trickled down my spine. Dad's face, his voice, "You're not worthy," still echoing. Daniel held me tighter. He didn't say anything dramatic, just kept murmuring in that low, warm voice. "Breathe with me, Michael. In out, in one, out two." I tried to follow. In. My heart slowed. He didn't let go, just held me, lying on his side so I could curl into his chest. His hands slid slowly up and down my back, steady, calming. Rain kept falling. Thunder rolled. But in Daniel's arms, warmth started spreading. From his chest, his hands, his breath, pushing back the cold of the nightmare. I whispered, voice cracking, "I dreamed about Dad. He tore up your drawing, said I was a disgrace. I'm so scared, Daniel. Scared one day you'll think the same." Daniel paused for a second, then kept stroking my hair. "Listen to me," he said softly. "I will never think you're a disgrace. Never. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me. You walked away from everything to be real with me. You burned stew and still laugh about it. You held my hand in that supermarket even though your mom was watching. I'm so proud of you, Michael. So damn proud." Tears fell harder, but not from fear this time. From being held. From being loved when I felt smallest. Daniel pulled the blanket over both of us. Tucked me against him like I was something precious. One arm around my back, the other hand over my heart. "Go back to sleep," he whispered. "I'll hold you all night." Not letting go. I nodded, eyes closing. Rain still fell, but it wasn't scary anymore. Just background noise. Background for Daniel's steady breathing. His heartbeat under my ear, his arms wrapped around me. I drifted off. No more nightmares. No more Dad's voice. Just warmth. Just Daniel. Next morning, the rain had stopped. Weak sunlight slipped through the curtains. Daniel was still holding me, eyes closed, but I knew he hadn't slept much. He'd stayed awake watching over me. I tilted up and kissed his chin. He opened his eyes, gave me a tired smile. "Sleep okay?" I nodded, voice hoarse from crying. "Yeah, because of you." He pulled me closer, kissed my hair. "I'll always be here, no matter how hard the rain, no matter how bad the nightmares. I'll hold you until you're not scared anymore." I rested my head on his chest, listening to his heartbeat. And for the first time after a nightmare, I felt it clearly. The wound was still there, but it was healing. In our little 170-square-foot room, under the soft morning light after the storm, I knew the nightmares would come back. But every time they did, Daniel would hold me, soothe me, heal me. And maybe one day I won't dream of Dad anymore. Just Daniel. Just us. Last week of July, Daniel started complaining about feeling tired. At first it was small stuff. Drew too much today. Eyes are burning. Or framing shift was long. Back hurts. I figured one good night's sleep would fix it. But Thursday, when I got back from the morning shift at Brew and Sketch, Daniel was stretched out on the bed, face flushed, eyes glassy. I dropped the takeout bag on the table and rushed over. Touched his forehead, burning up. "Daniel? You're really hot." He tried to smile, voice scratchy. "Probably just a cold. I'll take some medicine and be fine." I wasn't having it. I grabbed the digital thermometer from the drawer, the one we bought after I got sick in the rain. 102.8 degrees Fahrenheit. High fever. Panic hit me hard. This was the first time Daniel, the guy who always held me through nightmares, who laughed when I burned stew, looked so fragile. Lying there, sweat-soaked hair stuck to his forehead, eyes half closed. "Should I call a doctor?" I asked, voice shaking. He shook his head weakly. "No, just stay with me." I nodded, trying to stay calm even though my heart was racing. I ran to the pharmacy 2 blocks away, bought fever reducers, wet wipes, and some canned chicken soup. On the way back, a light summer rain started, humid, sticky. Back in the room, I kept swapping cool cloths on his forehead. Daniel was out of it, mumbling now and then, "Michael, don't go, stay." I sat by the bed holding his hand. His palm was hot, still rough from paintbrushes and framing work. I traced those calluses, tears falling quietly onto his skin. "I'm right here," I whispered. "I'm not going anywhere." I didn't sleep that night. I stayed by his side, changing cloths when they warmed up, spoon-feeding him soup when he woke a little, wiping sweat, telling him dumb stories to keep him from feeling alone. About the time I spilled all the milk while making coffee, the time I cried over a 94 on a test, the burnt stew night when we ate ramen and laughed until we cried. Daniel opened his eyes sometimes, gave me a weak smile. "You're amazing. I'm so proud of you." I smiled through tears. "You gotta get better so you can keep being proud." Morning came, fever down to 101.3. He was more awake but still wiped out. He tried to sit up. I gently pushed him back. "Stay down. You're off today." "I'm doing morning shift and coming back early." He grabbed my hand. "You're exhausted. Don't push yourself." I leaned down, kissed his still warm forehead. "You stayed up all night holding me through nightmares. Now it's my turn. I'm strong. I can do this." He looked at me, eyes shiny. "You've grown up so much." I laughed, wiping my eyes. "Because you taught me." I went to work, but my mind was on Daniel the whole time. I made coffee faster, smiled more at customers. Even Maya noticed. "You're killing it today, Michael. What's got you so happy?" I just grinned. "The guy I love is sick. I want to get home to him early." Maya laughed. "Then go. Love's the best medicine." I got back at noon with a light sugar matcha latte, his favorite. He was sitting up against the headboard, still pale but eyes brighter. "You're back," I said, setting the matcha down. He pulled me close, hugged me tight even though he was weak. Thank you, I hugged back, face in his hair. I realized something today. What? I'm strong enough to be there for you. I'm not that scared kid anymore. I can take care of you, the way you always took care of me. Daniel held me tighter, voice thick. I always knew you were strong. You just hadn't seen it yet. We sat like that for a while. I fed him soup, he sipped the matcha. Then we lay down. Sleep, I whispered. I'm here, not going anywhere. He closed his eyes, smiling. I know. The rain had stopped. Soft sunlight came through the curtains, falling on us, one sick, one taking care. And for the first time, I felt it clearly. The roles had shifted a little. I wasn't always the one being protected. I could protect too. I could be the steady one. And that made me feel bigger than ever. Not because I'm perfect. Not because I'm fearless. But because I've learned how to love, with actions, with patience, with staying even when I'm tired. I kissed his hair, whispered, "Get better soon, my hero." He smiled sleepily. "You're my hero too." In our 170-square-foot room, under the late summer sun, I knew we'd always take turns being each other's hero, for each other, and for ourselves. Late one night at the end of July, Columbus was finally quiet. The last bus had passed, leaving only the ceiling fan's rattle and the soft summer wind through the window crack. Daniel had crashed early. The fever from earlier left him wiped. Even though he was better now, he needed the rest. I lay beside him, eyes wide open, holding a letter under the dim bedside lamp. It was from home. Envelope a little crumpled from the trip. Mom's familiar handwriting on the paper. I opened it, heart pounding. Just a few short paragraphs. But every word felt like an old knife twisting into a half-healed scar. Michael, I know you're living in Columbus with that boy. I don't want to hurt you, but I'm still so worried. Your dad is still angry, still won't talk about you, but I know he misses you. If you see a therapist, get treatment to be normal again, he'll forgive you. The door is always open. I just want you to be happy the right way. You're my son. I don't want you living like this forever. Love, Mom. I read it 3 times. First time, pain. Second, anger. Third, exhaustion. Not work tired. Tired of the same old loop. Love with conditions. Forgiveness with a price. Happiness only if you're normal. I sat up, barefoot, and stepped out onto the tiny balcony. Just a ledge big enough for 2 people to stand close. I brought the letter and a cheap candle from the corner store. Set the candle on the railing, lit it. The small flame flickered in the dark. I looked at the letter one last time. Mom's shaky handwriting. The same one from when I was little, notes reminding me to study. I used to think it was comfort. Now it just reminded me of the cage I'd escaped. I held the edge to the flame. Paper caught fast. Fire spreading from the corner across the page. The words curled, blackened, turned to ash. I watched the ash drift on the wind, off the balcony, disappearing into the city night. No tears, no shaking, just this strange, calm lightness in my chest, like someone had finally cut the rope that had been strangling my heart for years. Daniel appeared behind me, hair messy, eyes sleepy. He draped his hoodie over my shoulders, then wrapped his arms around me from behind, chin on my shoulder. "What are you doing?" he asked, voice rough from sleep. I nodded at the little pile of ash on the railing. Mom's letter. I burned it. He was quiet for a moment, then hugged me tighter. "You okay?" I nodded. "Yeah, really okay. I'm not angry anymore. Not sad. I just chose my life. And I don't need their forgiveness to be happy." Daniel turned me around, looked straight into my eyes under the streetlight's yellow glow. "I'm so proud of you, Michael. You're not waiting for anyone's approval anymore." I smiled soft, real. He leaned down and kissed me. Slow, deep, carrying the warmth of sleep and unconditional love. When he pulled back, he whispered, "The past is gone. Now it's just our future." I nodded, looking out at the city night. Streetlights flickering, cars sparse, sky black and starless from the haze. But I didn't need stars. I had Daniel and I had myself. I turned back, wrapped my arms around him. We stood there on the tiny balcony, summer wind blowing, carrying the last bits of ash away. The past had burned, and from those ashes, I felt lighter than ever. No more ropes, no more apologies needed. Just me, Michael, 18, living with the person I love, in our 170 square foot room, under a wide open sky.